What's up, YouTube? It's the PAC man, all things physician assistant, and I'm just cruising along in this Miami traffic, hopping on the 95 heading north back to Broward. For those of you who are from down here, you'll know that I-95 traffic at 4 p.m. is it's interesting to say the very least. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. In this particular video, I wanted to talk about, so let's say that you got into PA school, man, and let's say that classes begin in a month or so, and let's say that you're freaking out. So this is all hypothetical, of course, right? So what do you do? How do you prepare to, I'm gonna be flat out, how do you prepare for the hardest thing that you've ever done in your life? And I could say that very, very confidently. In fact, this is really gonna relate to more than 90% of anybody who's listening to this, and the absolute only person that probably would say, nope, I've done harder, is if you're a foreign medical doctor, so you've already gone through medical school. In which case, most of my professors were foreign medical doctors, and they all agree that the PA program was harder than medical school. Because they had 4 years to complete what we have to do in 2 years. So, I mean, I've never been to medical school. It seems like it would be extremely challenging, but according to my professors, the PA program is by far the hardest thing you're going to encounter. But guess what? I did it! And if I did it, then you do it. Because, I mean, seriously, I don't want to rant. I'm just going to tell you the facts that I know about the PA program, and particularly year one or didactic year, and what are some of the strategies and some of the learning curves that I learned. So first things first, forget everything that you've ever known. Now, I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, this guy. Now, seriously, forget everything that you've ever known. I went into the PA program, I'll give you just a very short background on myself. I went into the PA program with 10 plus years of experience as a surgical tech. I've worked, I've worked as a teacher since 2012, it's 2019, so I've been around. I'm fairly comfortable in the with sciences and what have you, whatever. When I got in that program, I've never felt so dumb in my life. But it's okay. Like the point of the program is you're in. The PA program thinks that you will make an excellent PA, but they're gonna have to mentally break you down and rebuild you to yourself 2.0, and you are going to feel dumb. And I mean dumb, like I know nothing. But hey, that's exactly what you're supposed to feel like. So please go in there with an open mind. Don't go in there and don't go in there with your hand up every 5 seconds. Excuse me, that's actually not what it says in the book, or that is not what I was taught, or that is not what I learned in my prerequisite course. Don't be that person. These professors are not some random professor that they just found in the street to teach. They know a lot, and you have so many professors because they literally they'll find an endocrine PA to teach endocrinology. They'll find a gynecological PA to teach gynecology. So each of these PAs or nurse practitioners or doctors are specifically trained in the field that they're teaching you. They get a pharmacologist to teach pharmacology, or a pharmacist. Like, these people know their stuff, so it's very tough to go against them. So just go in open-minded, see what they have to say, figure out how you're gonna digest that information and move forward. So that's number one. As a recap, number one was open your mind, mental expansion. Okay, number 2, get ready to learn in a way that you've never learned before. And what I mean by that is, you can't, let's say for instance, all of your prerequisites or your previous degrees, you've always just gone home, opened the books and studied, and then you took the test and you've done good, and that's how you got through your degree thus far. That will not work in PA school. I was gonna say may or may not work, but I'm quite certain it won't work, because there was 52 of us in our class, and we were all taught, or we were all studying at home. At the very most, you had a friend here or there that you studied with, but trust me when I tell you, you can't do the program alone. And our professors told us since day one, you must form groups, you must form coalitions, you must form unions. You have to do the program together. You can't do it alone. And I'm an absolute lone hunter. I'm not a wolf pack kind of guy. I'm a solitary predator. I identify my target and I proceed slowly towards it until I'm in reach, and then I just lunge at it. So I tried to lunge at a first couple of tests and I failed horrifically. And that's when I realized I can't do this alone. I can't believe that I can't do this alone. And because of that, I started jumping around. I noticed that everyone kind of formed their little their study groups very quickly. So I jumped from group to group. You're all in it together. Don't be afraid to I didn't even ask, hey, can I join your group? If I see a group of my fellow classmates, I just walk up, open my book, and just start trying to take notes. The beauty of it is that there's so many different PAs with so many different backgrounds, not PAs, but PA students with different backgrounds. When we covered EKG in our course, we had an EKG telemetry student. He was an EKG tech. So this guy was like a master of EKG. So obviously we all hung around him for our EKG test. And when we covered surgical suturing, people tend to move towards me because I've practically spent the last 10 years suturing. And in my particular scope of field, not all surgical techs suture. And then we had different people in different fields. We had a foreign medical doctor who was a gynecologist in her country. Who do you think we're gonna hang around when it's time for a GYN medicine test? So I say that to say that take advantage of the group. Don't feel like, oh, okay, this is my study group and I'm stuck with this group for the next 2 years or 27 months. No, jump around, jump to whoever can help. That's so that's really gonna be number 2, is figure out who's your study group. Tip number 2B, part B, which is a continuation of number 2. Don't feel like just because you initially started a study group that you have to remain with that study group to the end of the program. Sometimes you're gonna have a little bit of a fallout with certain people within that group, and you guys may not see eye to eye anymore. I hope it doesn't come to that, but if it does, I don't want you to feel like, you know what, like I really like this person as a friend, but when it comes to studying, they're too distracted. You didn't study for the PA program with them. You didn't do your prerequisites with them. Even if you did, you weren't born with this person. You need to worry about you. So if you gotta drop them like a hot potato or squash them and make mashed potato, you do what you have to do for you, because only you need to worry about you. And there's going to be certain people within your group who you study together, but now they're failing miserably, and they have one chance to remediate before they're dropped for the semester, and they have to wait till the following year, or they get dropped from the program altogether if they fail the next test. That's a lot of pressure for one person, and you feel bad and you want to help them, so you have the next test to worry about. but you also are trying to recap information and see how you can teach this person the test that you just passed and they failed. You can't do that. You got to move forward. I know it sucks. I know, you know, the military teaches you no man left behind. PA program says every man for themselves. Now, the PA program doesn't say that, but I say that. Peter Molina says, do you first. You know, if you're in an airplane and there's too much turbulence and the masks come down from the overhead compartments, whose mask do they ask you to secure first? I'll leave it at that. So, the last point that I want to, I guess the last tip that I want to give is, don't study anything in advance. Right now, if you're about to get into, not about to get into, but if you're about to start your didactic year, you need to hit, this sounds weird, but you need to hit the club. You need to call your family members that you haven't seen in a long time because you figured they're always there and you're always here. You need to call them up and you need to spend all the time you can. Husbands, love your wives. Wives, love your husbands. Fiancés, love each other. Boyfriends, take your girlfriends out. Girlfriends, take your boyfriends out. Call your mom, call your dad, call your uncle. Enjoy yourselves. Go out every moment that you can. Don't study. Don't burn your brain cells. They're going to burn everything you learn. They're going to destroy it in your mind, and they're going to rewire your brain anyways. Don't burn yourself out early. You're going to have to go through all this either way. So my number one advice is enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, because it's going to suck for the next 27 months. But guess what? The other side is by far the absolute most rewarding profession that you will ever have. This is just the best. I love my patients. I love my job. How many people who can actually say I love my pay? Like, I feel like I'm compensated for doing a good job. And I love my job. I get up every morning before my alarm clock. And my alarm clock goes off pretty early. And I've never had a job that I could wake up before without the alarm waking me up. That's the eagerness that I have to get to work. And it's just a beautiful thing. But you got to get past this program. So that's my advice for you guys. And best of luck during didactic year. And I'll be making a clinical year video coming up soon. See ya.